Hi, my name is Viral Desai. I'm a fellow at Mayo Clinic, and today we have Dr. Kalra here with us. Dr. Kalra needs no introduction. He's a researcher, innovator, and an educator. He is an interventional cardiologist at Franciscan Health in Indiana. He is also the host of the Parallax podcast and the CEO of Makerton Foundation. Dr. Kalra, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I look forward to speaking with you. I think when we were conversing, via email, I had told you that I think maybe 10 years or maybe 11 years ago, I was you. I was Fits on the go and interviewing, faculty. So this just feels like full circle. So this is, very emotional for me. So thank you for having me.
Oh, no, the pleasure is all ours. Dr. Kada, as an IMG myself, I want to let you know a lot of IMGs look up to you. So I remember reading your article, was Pedigree versus Perseverance, multiple times before my residency and fellowship. And I wanted to know from your own words what your journey has been uh, till now as an IMG in cardiology.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for reading that piece. I'm honored that it inspired your career, and I thought it was. I mean, the reason I wrote that piece was to sort of reflect on my own journey, and in the hope that if I pen this down and put this on paper and immortalize it, right, it will inspire future cardiologists like yourself. And I'm so happy to see that that paper became the fulcrum of you being at the Mayo Clinic, which makes me very, very happy. um, I think all of us come with big dreams and aspirations, particularly those of us who are coming in STEM. I mean, I think even outside of STEM, I think even people who come in film, for example, come to the US with a lot of dreams and aspirations. And um, I think you are going to meet with challenges, and you are going to see roadblocks, and you are going to have to um, stand up. And uh, I don't think prove yourself is maybe the right terminology. I think you will be challenged, either by um, circumstances or competition or situations in life. And what you'll have to do is you'll have to, for me at least, you'll have to go deep within and um, constantly keep that fire in the belly rekindled. I sort of fire in the belly. I mentioned that even in that article. Um, there are times when we just get lost, for lack of a better word, in the mundane routine stuff, and we sort of forget who we are. And I think each time we are met with challenges or roadblocks, whether it's life or situations or at work or competition, um, it's an opportunity for us to go back and go within, go in ourselves, and rekindle that fire and just re-identify with our identity, which brought us here. Um, and I think each time you can tap into that fire, each time you can tap into that own identity, I think each time you'll come back stronger, and you'll come back more determined, and you will come back um, more whole. Um, it's been that for me repeatedly. I think, as a resident, then as a fellow, then as an interventional fellow, then as a structural heart fellow, then as early career faculty, and now as an interventionalist. Whether it is a tough patient scenario, whether it is a tough life scenario. Um, there have been many occasions where I've had to go back within and rekindle that fire. And each time I've done that, I've come back stronger and more determined. So I would say it's been very fulfilling. I think I'm deeply grateful to people who I've come across with. I'm deeply grateful to the relationships and connections that I've fostered, um, and I continue to nurture them. I am deeply grateful for circumstances, both good and bad. I think bad is not, I don't think any circumstance is bad. Circumstances can be challenging. It's how you, it's how you take them. It's what you make out of them is what defines you and what defines your path. I would take it back actually. No circumstance is bad. Every circumstance presents an opportunity. It is up to us to, again, go within and ask ourselves, what can you make of that circumstance? I don't know if that answers your question. Maybe it was a philosophical answer, but
No, that was a really good answer. And speaking of circumstances, I also wanted to ask you. You were a resident at Ames before you came to the United States, and Ames being the top hospital in India. And what inspired you to move to the US at that time?
yeah, so great question. I was a second year resident going on to my third year at the All India Institute, and um, I was at this apex medical teaching institution and hospital in the country, and I was um, in my hometown, and I was going home every day, and seeing family every day, and everything seemed quote unquote settled um, externally, right? But internally, I was having this internal struggle. Internally, I was there was something which was telling me that no, this is not where I'm meant to be. I'm supposed to be, even though everyone outside of me, including my parents and um, friends and mentors, everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, you are at the All India Institute, you are doing your residency in internal medicine. It's highly competitive, and you're here, and this is the apex institution in the country. Why are you thinking of leaving residency in the middle and starting all over again in the US? And I had no better answer other than saying it's a little inner voice which keeps telling me that I'm supposed to, take on this path and leave this residency at the All India Institute should I match. Obviously you have to match. Um, and people said, why even apply? Like, what if you're going to match, then you're going to have to leave this in the middle. Why even apply? And I said, look, this is something which I feel very strongly for. And this is something which is an inner voice, even though it may be antagonistic to everyone else's opinion. I just have to have the faith and the courage to actually listen to my own inner voice and follow that path. And I think if anyone who is listening who wants to, the answer to this question, if anyone is listening, I think the one thing that I would inspire all of us to do is to constantly listen to that little inner voice, um, which exactly knows where you are meant to be. Because if you ignore it, and you can ignore it, and we can debate if there is free will or not. I mean, that is another philosophical debate. But I'm still on the fence. I don't think there is any free will, but there may be free will. Um, but the message is, and the teaching is, that if you have to train yourself to listen to the inner voice, and you have to have the faith and the courage to trust it and move forward with it. That is the biggest lesson. That is the biggest teaching. That is actually what I tell myself each time I'm faced with um, like crossroads in life, and crossroads in profession, and crossroads in opportunities, is just listen to that inner voice, because that inner voice is what the spirit is telling you, and it's never going to misguide you. um, no matter what the external circumstances are, and no matter what the external individuals, mentors, people are telling you, because they're advising you out of their own life experience, but they're not you. And the only person who is you is you. So you have to have that courage and faith to listen to that inner voice and move forward with it.
That's very insightful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I had another question. As IMGs, we all face challenges. The most initial one is the transition to the American healthcare system, and that in itself is a huge challenge for a lot of us. How did you navigate that? Can you give us some advice on that?
Yeah, so I can, I'm not sure if I would call that advice, because again, to each our own, and we all have to train to listen to our own inner voices. I can definitely share my experience of how I navigated it. For I would, I'll be honest. Like for me, when I came here, I knew most of my medicine because I was training at the All India Institute, and I was a senior resident when I came here. Um, so for me, the challenge was not the medicine or understanding medicine or learning medicine. I think it was more, how do I understand this healthcare system? Simple things which now I understand very deeply. I just would not understand. For example, putting in consults for physical therapy and occupational therapy. I did not know what that was. Um, working with social workers, working with pharmacy, having multidisciplinary teams. Um, just the concept and the semblance of coming up with a progress note. I mean, uh, you know, people may think it's unbelievable that for someone who has written so much, a person like me would struggle to write a progress note, but that was true. I would struggle to write a progress note. um, and I would be, guided and taught by senior residents and even attending physicians, how to write a progress note on the floor versus how to write a progress note in the ICU. I would sort of do it system wise, even in the floor, and then I would do it disease wise in the ICU, and I was mixing them up, and it would it would take me a lot of time to formulate my own thought. I would know what to do to the patient, but I just didn't know how to put that on paper. Um, so that took, I think, a good 6 months for me to even get immersed in the flow of things. Then I think the other big challenge for me was just like the days would start very early. That was like a major challenge for me. I mean, not. I think most of. I mean, I'm speaking about myself, and even back home, different people have different schedules. But I was not a morning person, and US is a morning country. Like if you are not a morning person, you can really struggle here, particularly in a hospital setting, right? I mean, that has obviously changed now. I mean, I have become a morning person, but I wasn't. Traditionally or historically, I was not. So that was the other big challenge: is like, how do I put myself to bed early enough so that I can wake up early enough and be fresh and be attentive. Um, and I think the third challenge was getting used to um, the medium roast black coffee. Um, without the instant coffee, which is the vast majority of it actually is just all milk, and there isn't any coffee. So I think those are the three big adjustments. But again, it's like you try to a culture. I mean, there's a culturation that happens slowly, and you try to immerse yourself. And I think the one driver which makes anyone overcome all the obstacles is gratitude. So if you are in a state of gratitude, no matter what the circumstances, I think the universe respects that, and the universe blesses that, and the universe gives you strength and gives you more opportunity to overcome all the obstacles. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I, I don't know if that was the answer, but that's what I could come up with.
No, as you said, like everyone faces their own types of challenges.
Yeah,
So thanks for sharing yours. And
yeah,
I'm sure I at least resonate with most of them. So I'm sure
yeah.
others do too. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kalra. Thank you for being with us today. And for more videos like this, please follow us on Twitter at Fits on the Go and also on YouTube. You're at youtube.com/Fits on the Go.